Good evening. This is Tuesday, February 13th, 6 p.m. We're calling the Townsend Finance Committee meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. As we have remote members, we need a roll call.
Chairman Zekas is here.
Josh Levitt.
Mark Hussey.
Checking to see if Andrea's in, and Don Hayes. With 4 members, we have a quorum. This meeting is being recorded, and it is also being played live on Channel 9. It can be viewed at various times on Channel 9 and on the YouTube channel when posted for the future. 1.4, the additions or deletions. At this point, I did not prepare and print the land use budget. So if we not put it wrong, I'm just looking at, I said accountant and I'm an assessor. Okay. So we don't have that. So the additions will be, we will not do section 2.3 land use or 2.4. The accountant, we will add in the assessor budget to look at that. Okay, and town clerk, the elections budget, we're going to pass over on that. Also, we don't have the necessary quorum to take a vote. So next, for the next meeting, we will do the declarations as necessary, and we'll bring that to the Thursday agenda. Going on to 2.2, the police budget. The police chief had provided the budget memo that should be accompanying the budget sheet. This is the first one we're seeing. Let's see. There, just get it displayed for those on the phone. It's not there, so talks about budget. Sorry. My apologies for not having it. Bill will be part up, but it's here now. All members should have received a copy. This was in the folder that was part of the zip file that was forwarded on from so I think the pieces that I was looking at, the salary line, in the third paragraph, the salary lines definition for the 10% increase, was for the collective bargaining raises. And, earlier on, he mentioned the ARPA, so they're fully funding the ARPA position in the budget this year. They're not looking at using ARPA funds to fund that position. We will have,
Hey, Dawn, could you share your screen, please?
oh, sorry, I thought I had.
Okay, I've got it, but I didn't want to dig it up. I know when you had it up.
Yeah, no, that's. We had started and just didn't finish it up.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, so, sorry. Sorry, no, I'm just trying to pull it up. So, the line I was talking about was the third line in the paragraph, or third paragraph. Salary lines represent the 10% increase over last year's appropriation, mainly to the collective bargaining, related raises, certification, the Quinn payments, and the ARPA issue, which is that ARPA had been funding a position in the police force for the last couple of years, so now it's,
Was it an officer or a?
it was an officer.
Officer? Mhm.
Yeah. And so now that's why we're gonna see a larger number in there. Last year, they had us take it out of the budget in the special town meeting in the fall. They had us adjust the fiscal year 24. To remove it, so, that number becomes higher. And he talks about all the other details, so with the budget, he's also included, in the police, the animal control officers, budgets. So there's a total of 3 budgets, 4 submitted by the police chief. One is for the police department, one is communications, and the other is, the animal control officer.
Any patrol officer falls into that?
Yeah, so, look, we get to the police. And control officer. Get rid of this.
Hey, Dawn, quickly, that lieutenant's position is 2 positions, am I correct?
Yes, it was 2. They took the deputy chief, so, and you can see this looks a little different than the other worksheets that come in from the other departments. The second line, the deputy police chief, ended in the FY '23 and has been replaced with the lieutenant positions. And so the money that had been funding the deputy chief funds the lieutenant.
The second lieutenant.
Yeah,
Oh, the missing lieutenant's funding the deputy chief. I don't understand.
I
okay.
only see one
So
lieutenant.
Yeah, so line 6, the deputy chief it ended in FY '23.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, and when we look in columns E and F for last year and this year, we can see the change in the lieutenant. I'm assuming we had a change of personnel in that, and the newer lieutenant came in at a lower salary.
Okay, all right, I see now. Yeah,
What happened on, line 4?
Line 4 or the fourth line, which is
Well,
the operating staff.
right,
Okay, so that's the one where the ARPA money
went away.
and is not being fully funded in the budget for the police. So that's why the increase.
Sort of big jump.
Yeah, it's a big jump of
Huge
50.
jump.
Yeah, when you add a full salary into that position, it looks like a big jump. We've been funding that position with ARPA money, so if we subtracted out the ARPA money, it would be the reasonable percentage. It would be in that 4% range for salaries that we're talking.
I thought 2.5% was that range,
What is this, 4%?
yeah, I noticed.
Yeah.
are we still down an officer? Or are they
Um,
full?
I believe there's one posted right now.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Is it, are we, is it in here somewhere that
No, he's fully
staffed right now, except he's down one?
Yeah.
He's done. So for FY 25, the assumption is that position will be filled and
Good.
he'll need to pay.
Mhm.
Maybe savage.
He'll be, yeah,
I'm sure what he said.
yeah.
And why does he think overtime's gonna go up compared to last year? Because he makes a notation that they cut overtime last year.
But if bringing a new officer on, wouldn't that take care of overtime? I don't know.
That may, let me flip over to the BBA.
From jumping
I
in,
did
sorry.
not print all 32 pages of this yet, so
Oh, it's
That's
all right. It's fine.
it kind of, we'll take care of that. When I get the,
Special stipends. So, let me get this
Okay.
straight. So, they had COLA, which is what percentage is what,
Right.
2%
It's 2% plus steps, I would.
plus steps, okay.
Yeah.
And they get the steps, so
Right.
it should average out to be about 4.5%,
It,
sort of.
Yeah,
No.
and looking at the gross overtime for this year, on the BBA, we are sitting right at, let's say, at the 50% level, and we're 7 months in, so that's.
Mhm.
just-
What line is that on, please?
Sorry, it's kind of like, it's not in here, the BBA is up on the screen. Let me try to pull it up a little bit, so.
So we're right at 50% with
Mhm.
4 months to go, 4 or 5 months to go.
5 months to go, so,
Yeah, I was just curious because budgeted last year 140,000, and he's expecting it to go
there's
up.
an increase in wages, so it goes up.
Oh, I see.
It's kind of like, it's gonna go up corresponding to the higher rate, hourly rate that they're being paid.
Okay, I got that. That
So
makes sense.
he's going up to cover it and probably looking at a little bit of a round number to hit it.
Yep, okay.
So, and I don't know if more overtime comes in the spring.
I wouldn't, I don't know.
With the court dates and things. All right, back to budget, or we can flip back and forth with the BBA if there's other questions, but, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have, we got the new BBA, which is the report for what we've used to date on, in the FY '24 budget, so we can see if they're out of whack anywhere, if they're gonna account for it. Or increase the lines, so. 7.14, is a little higher, but, you know, trying to save, but hey, we'll make a note to,
Is the police station on that, so we have the proposed solar project?
yes, yeah, so the police station will be,
Is that slated for FY '25?
I haven't heard that any bids have gone out or accepted yet.
Oh, I thought there was some area identified.
They were identified, but they came to the town to try to do it. You can't pick somebody, you've got to post stuff.
Yeah, do like a request for proposals.
Right, a request for proposals, see who comes in, you can. It's beyond the $10,000 limit for, just choosing somebody. And again, I think that limit goes up with the recent, law that's been passed by the state.
I wasn't sure where we were in the process, but that's what I was asking.
Yeah, so,
At least the good thing is that energy costs should go away, or at least go down significantly, right? Given when that ever happens.
it should go down. We don't know what the number is necessarily yet, because the town is on energy aggregate plan already.
Mhm.
So this number, although it went up, let's see where it is in the BBA.
It's 54% at this point. That's actually not bad. No, it's actually not bad at all.
Yeah, that's,
Keeping it at 62 in the station.
yeah. The water is way there. They're already at 2,300 for the year, and they're only budgeting the 2,100 next year. So they're already at full use. That might be a number we need to look at. Or it's a combination for the facilities and the energy that, between the two of them, total it up and get that total building support for water and energy. Mark, anything for
No, I'm good. I looked at it earlier. This is pretty much what you've sent me. No, I have no questions.
I only have one question.
Yeah.
And it's on the, it's in the BV.
Yeah.
The expenses for, page 11. Keep going. It's under special articles.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
ones you're hiding.
Yeah.
The lobby door key and HVAC upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So it was budgeted for a certain number,
Mm-hmm.
but then there's been no
Activity.
No activity. Is that expected to?
Let's take a look at the column. So they originally budgeted on the lobby door key, they've used written on the HVAC.
Yeah, those ones they've used anything.
Those were,
The only reason I'm bringing it up is,
Yeah.
is it going to be something that could, is it being planned to be used for the remainder of the year? Or will that come up?
I thought they had done that last year, and they didn't get to them. They came up,
I would have to look at the account, especially where, bottom one, the HVAC, and it was a 2019 article. This is probably covering a balance. I can't imagine that an HVAC upgrade is gonna be $900.
No, I can't either, but still.
But that, this is something we talked about last year, is going through the BVA and
Mhm.
identifying all lines like this.
Maybe once we get out of budget season, I guess.
Yeah, that probably makes sense, get through budgets, but at the same time, we need to look at it because we'll talk to, Eric on Friday. This will be Thursday. This will be a question for Eric to see, what the timings are
Mhm.
for the warrant articles. I think the annual town meeting warrant has to be closed on March 1st.
March 1st, it is March 1st.
But then we usually do a special, and I don't know if the special is like a, April 1st. Date or not, so.
Okay.
That may drive us that we can't wait until after there, if we want the town to vote these. If we find that we're not gonna use these funds for the proposed purpose,
Mhm.
we have to put together a warrant article, takes them back out and puts them into the general fund so that they can be used.
Mhm.
Good question.
For school, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, it's kind of like if I talk and write. I'll never get it right. Okay. Okay, so we can see that there's 17,000 left in those. And again, the same thing may hold true for the lobby door here, if they did the upgrades.
Yeah,
Then
it's
It could be-
16,000,
yeah,
right?
they could have done it on an estimate, and the actual work came to less than had been approved on the annual town meeting, so I can do a little digging and see what the original amounts were. And back to the police budget, just right, because the last one, and this can be a question for our capital equipment rep. Bottom bottom line
Mhm.
on the budget, the new equipment, this is the cruisers. Is that capital equipment paid by leases, or is it strictly out of his budget? Because
No, it's lease.
it's lease, and I think the lease
Comes out of his budget.
comes out of,
He comes to capital plan with it.
right, and that's why it's kind of,
Right.
but where it's a lease, we want to make sure that it's covered in the right place.
Mhm.
And I
So he's
know,
covered in his.
It says it's part of, still, it must be still an ongoing leasing program.
yeah, it rotates. I think he does 4-year leases and has 2 cruises come up.
The way he explained it, the way the maintenance costs that he's saving by doing this really makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then he's gonna try to move to the electric vehicles in the future, which may likely drive this line higher. Most,
100%.
yeah,
It's actually becoming more expensive to buy a gas-powered vehicle.
wow.
Yeah, but I think that's a really good point. Like,
Energy's gonna go up.
The energy will go up. If they build the capacity, they can't build current capacity, but if they build, so that they can add additional panels when the usage goes up, then they can do another audit and add more panels.
but I mean, I think it's a good point though. Overall, I mean, if they're going to move towards electric fleet, that's going to be more expensive. And he's going to need a way to charge those fleet
So,
at the station, which
Yeah.
means that's going to be another cost, right?
yeah,
I know what they were doing with the solar. They're talking about the panels. They were going to run the infrastructure to actually help incorporate the solar with it.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
But I'm gonna throw it in here, since we keep on asking for it, and we need to do it this year. It's the 5-year,
It's a 5-year plan.
5-year plan.
Well, I guess, the flip side too, the electric, is that actually probably brings down the maintenance costs and hopefully some of the cars. So maybe balances a little bit. Anyways, that would be part of the 5-year plan.
Yeah, exactly. See if there's a change on the repair and maintenance. Because that's on a different line. This is strictly the leases.
Yeah.
But again, it was up 26%.
Where do you see 26%?
On the new equipment, last line,
Oh,
in 5850 on the budget.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, sorry, I was looking at the BB.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at jump back to the PVA, we can see that the lease payments have already been made at the 75,000, so, yeah, they haven't been made. Okay, so now I have a question. We budgeted 75,000, we haven't used any yet in this budget. If it's at the end of FY '24 that we have to pay,
It doesn't seem. Yeah, that's a good question.
Maybe that's the beginning of it then. No, Is that the end?
It could be that they make a final payment at the end of the fiscal
I
year.
think, I'm not sure it's 4, I think they're turning 3. I think it's 3 vehicles,
Okay.
pretty sure.
Yeah, so it'd be nice to see,
Mhm, for sure.
when they come on, when they drop off, see the pace of,
Well, they're on a rotating,
they're on a rotating. so
3 every,
3 years
no,
or 4?
3.
3, okay. And they do the whole fleet, or they rotate?
It rotates the fleet, so there's always
There's
something new
something
coming
come-
up.
Yeah, there's some coming on and
Right.
the old one's going off. but,
Right,
No.
because they're running like all day long, all night long.
Right.
I guess another notation on the 5-year plan,
Mhm.
if we get to it, like in FY '22, there was no expense, but yet the leasing program started in 19. So does that mean we can expect in FY '26 potentially be 0 expense as well?
Well, that's, I think what it was, we were bouncing between capital plan paying for it, so it was part of the capital planning budget. And there's,
No, I don't think it was ever part of capital plan, I think it always came out of his,
Yeah, but it always comes up every year, just like this.
just like, I mean, it comes up, but never comes
right,
out.
and we keep revisiting it and going,
Right,
okay, so it
yeah.
was part of it's kind of like, and I know with leases, that there was, some accounting changes, so we have to see that we, are following,
Mhm.
we have it in the right place and we're gonna report it correctly. And it is only a reporting requirement that we report leases, properly in the audits at the end of the year.
No, I'm just curious. I was,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. As you said, and we've got the budget there. That, yeah. Let's see, nothing in 2019, then a huge amount, and then we dropped back off. So that was probably the start of the lease and we're moving from the other accounting method that we were using. And I know they kept on this reporting requirement for the leases like that. DLS keeps on changing implementation dates, so it's kind of, we get close to it and then they
change it again.
Take it down the road another year.
Okay.
Which is always the tough part, the changes you think are gonna be made. And then, so within there, so this is the summary, and he's prepared it like this. It looks like the BVA, it looks like what it's gonna look like in the omnibus budget coming in. And again, this is different than the summaries we see from the other departments, which just groups all the individual lines together. All the other lines, he's got labor lines for the positions, and he's got multiple labor sheets. They're not printed out. They're like, because he took all the information that's here and compiled it on the sheet. This is in the backup. And if you want to see it, I can print them and provide it as additional backup data. It just, my ink was on low, my low ink light came on, so I gotta get more ink and print them.
That's okay. This all makes sense to me.
Yeah, so if you need to see what makes up a line, the detail behind it will be in here.
So he's got just, on the leasing, there's his capital leasing equipment line is 0. That stuff that doesn't sound like it's coming out of some sort of capital budget.
It doesn't come out of capital budget.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
I'm just gonna. Andrea came in, sorry, Andrea, do you know what time you came in?
6:11,
Okay.
something like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. It's kind of like, we moved on, and as always, I don't have the attendees list open because it takes up space and overwrites some of the files. So, we just want to duly note when you came in, so you're the fifth member. And I don't see Sam. Okay. So we had a couple of questions. We can bring them to Eric on Friday. If not, we can bring them to the chief and ask him to fill up for a little bit. But having reviewed it, having our questions in line, can make a meeting with the department heads quicker. So we can do that. If we put it off until the March 9th budget summit, maybe it's kind of like, we always have that opportunity to follow the department heads in one more time.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Because I came in late, and I apologize, did you discuss at all the people he had from ARPA?
we did. That was in his, in his budget memo that accompanied this. The ARPA money is removed from his budget this year. He's fully funding all officers from within the operating budget. So when we looked at that, and I'll scroll back up to that line, we see the jump on line 8, which is the salaries and wages, and it's jumping by 15%. And that's raises for the collective bargaining unit, along with adding in the officer that had been ARPA funded and is no longer. So
The officer is not part of his regular force. It is, yes.
he is part of his regular force, and he's putting that piece into the budget this year.
So that will also swell unemployment and healthcare.
Yes, yeah. And again, we can go back and ask the questions of Eric, because I think we will have a future joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen to discuss the ARPA funds. My understanding was that ARPA was funding the positions, and most positions benefits were being paid by the town all along. There were just, I think, 2 positions that had the ARPA funding that was funding the position and the benefits.
No, it's police
Just
and
for the fire. I thought there were several 2 for police. There were several for fire, and then there were 2 major positions.
Right, there was the HR position that,
Are we, now that the ARPA money has gone away, are we trying to put this all back into the budget? And
it is not really gone away yet.
Mhm.
The ARPA money has to be allocated by fiscal year 25. It has to be used by the end of calendar year 26. So we're gonna, and I think that's part of the bigger ARPA conversation and the 5-year plan.
to try to get them into the program?
Into the sync, yeah,
Mhm.
in the sync. How do we approach taking it, when we took the ARPA money out of the budget last year, that was $350,000. So we're running, if we consider that, we are running at a $350,000 deficit budget without the ARPA money. So we have to find a way to bring in that $350,000 into the budget and fund it with,
So is that what
fund it.
behind is 350?
That's I would say that's the approximate number. Yeah, that was,
If we can't bring them in, if we can't afford them, and we're
Mhm.
already talking overrides and things,
Yeah.
we have to pay their unemployment for the 22 months or however long unemployment runs now.
Right.
So we're also facing an additional cost.
Right, yeah, yeah, because we're not like a business that files the quarterlies and pays into the unemployment fund. The town is running along that we pay the full amount when somebody when somebody collects unemployment.
We're
So those-
self-insured.
Yeah. Yeah, so if we get to that point that we don't get an override and we can't find a way to put these into the budget with the normal Prop 2.5 increases, and that accounts for the new tax rolls, the properties that come on to the tax rolls. We'll see how that goes. One of the items that did pass recently, by the state is the ability for the town to put I believe it's a 5% surcharge on excise tax bills
Oh, what
for the
bills?
town. Excise tax,
An additional 5%?
an additional 5%. So, we
Plus-
have,
Plus an override?
Maybe in lieu of an override.
it could be.
Yeah,
It's kind of
or-
like, it's kind of like, I don't think, it does not require an override. The bill passed by the
It's just big
Massachusetts
enough.
State Legislature
Mm,
says that cities and towns can add up to a 5%. I don't know if it is optional, but you can,
Is that
the
being
number
voted
here
on?
is 5%, to the excise tax. We also, the state also has I think it's another 0.25% on the meals tax.
Food
Can be
restaurant
charged.
taxes, yeah.
Yeah, so there were a lot of things in that bill, and we haven't seen how it's all gonna fall out yet, and which ones we're gonna implement. So questions probably for Board of Selectmen and Eric are, what are the plans going forward? Kind of like.
That's crazy. They're just asking us to make up for their negligence.
I-
That is
Yeah,
just ridiculous.
I.
Not the time to talk about it, I understand, but
No, it's kind of like.
that's just
Yeah.
typical.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know the full reasoning behind the bill, but I know the state was behind a lot of revenue, tax revenue money was lagging what they had predicted. And so they're starting to cut things. It's kind of like, and this may have been their way of, if they cut cherry sheet money to allow towns to make up what they're cutting.
Again,
But again,
point taken.
it's kind of like, that's my spin on it. It's not anything official.
It's exactly what I just said, though.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, no worries. It's kind of like, so we have a couple of questions open on the police budget, so I guess at that rate, not looking for motion to accept it until we get further details on some of these pieces. So we'll take this with the open questions and move it down the agenda to another meeting. Okay, so close that up. Next one on the police. Communications. Okay, so the communications,
I think the jump that he notes is basically because of like broadband communications.
Do we know what that big jump is? Or who's that?
It says it's, that's line, it's a community, it's 10,600.
okay, so that would be bottom.
I'm sorry, just one thing, is you reference this a grant? Is this final grant numbers could change our assessment? Are we,
Oh,
what is that? Are we funding this through some sort of grant program?
we are not funding it. Patriot, is doing the multiple communities.
Mhm.
They're doing the dispatching for the multiple communities. And so they're going out and looking for grants to help them upgrade in that. So I
Oh, I see.
believe what's being said here is that if Patriot gets final grants numbers,
Mhm.
and they get approved for more grants than they currently are, the reduction, there may be reductions in the numbers,
I see, okay.
to bring it closer in line.
Is this the communication to the 3 towns?
It's actually been now extended,
To
to Groton and Dunstable in addition. So. And again, you do get some benefit, in getting more towns in, that you can start taking advantage of using the equipment. It's not just the 3 towns who are responsible for paying for it. You can start, spreading out the cost.
Makes sense.
where is that? Is it located where? Is it located?
I'm not sure where it's located. Was it, Devon's?
Well, I thought we were coming out of Devon's. I thought we were,
And
Yeah.
that's,
I thought we were
Okay.
gonna do the Pepperell Towns and Ashby thing.
okay, yeah, so the Patriot RECC is the new one, and that's who we're part of now. Neshoba RECC is where we came from. So he mentions. And the Neshoba is only referenced to talk about the past, the history of, the changes and impact we had there.
So Groton and Dunstable are on that now too?
Yes, yeah. And again, this is mostly outsourced and there's nothing for direct salaries. It's all, we're just doing the payment for that. And then this was one, at the end of last year, we had an additional assessment that we had to come up with some money for, one of the municipal transfers at the end of the year. So,
Just curious, what's in the purchase of services?
I have not seen the, oh, sorry. Purchase, you're looking for a line.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, right there, 2, 7, I'm just more curious. I mean, it's gone down, which is, I guess, a nice thing. What is that, what is that?
That would be the line where we purchased the service for Patriot to be our dispatch partner. And so they dispatch police and fire for the multiple towns. This is in lieu of having a dispatch center located in the town and having the staff it.
But I'm confused about this. It's all right, I'll just ask the town administrator. I thought that it was just, when did they bring Groton and Dunstable? And when did they decide to do Patriots? I thought the communications was going to be done in Pepperell, and it was going to be the 3 communities. I thought Patriot was, I know we were over to Devon's, but I know they weren't happy with that situation.
Yeah, so
When did this all change?
well, I thought that was all part of it. And maybe when they were looking at creating it,
Could be.
they felt it was better to create an organization that supported it. So, and I know we do provide the equipment.
Well, it's mutual. Oh, who provides the equipment? No, we do not. I'm pretty sure we don't.
If there's specialized equipment necessary, they
Well, like
do.
what?
Like Townsend Fire Alarm,
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
that kind of thing.
All right,
So
okay.
it's kind
I
of-
misunderstood what you were saying.
Yeah, so to support those, we had a dedicated system set up in town that fire alarms would call to a certain computer,
Right.
and that would dispatch.
Okay.
That computer failed just as they were setting this up, so Townsend had to purchase a new computer, install it, because it's to support Townsend
Okay.
individually, so my expectation is other towns would have the same.
Same setup.
For their equipment. So the purchase of service is hiring them as a 24/7 dispatch center.
And where are they out of?
They may be purple. Let's see if we can Google them. I'd say they're purple. Looking at this.
Okay, all right,
So,
all right. That's right.
so the Patriot Regional Communication Center is showing on the report, it's Pepperell numbers, it's Pepperell
Okay.
PO box.
All right, we're just calling it something different now.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
It's a big number.
It's a big number. Let's just out of curiosity, let's get a communications and the BBA.
It doesn't, it just says other services.
But where are we?
47%.
Okay, so we're right around where we, a little below. And again, we don't know exactly when the payment goes in, so if we haven't paid the first month or the second half of the year, that would make sense that it's half.
I mean, it might be, it's just not, it might be more interesting to understand like how this works. It's a big number. And everything's kind of lumped in as like an other line item. It might be interesting to just understand, what is it? What's the 275 really represent?
Good. Look at that, it's kind of like, you're starting to play into my, I'm thinking that we need to branch out and have our members be in touch with the departments, like, similar to what the Board of Selectmen do, when they have a liaison for, and divide out the department, so that if we have these questions, we can.
Yeah, who's our liaison?
Our liaison right now is Teresa.
Teresa?
Yeah.
Okay.
They changed in November timeframe
Okay.
this year. They had, when they did April, they did that part of the year, and then they changed out. So we can ask the chief to come in and give us a little background on all these pieces, and maybe the two chiefs together, because it does fire and police, so.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm more understanding about them.
Yeah, it's not really questioning the numbers, it's kind of, what does it do?
Yeah, I was gonna say, that number is nothing compared to the schools.
Phil, we learned that last week. That was
But no, it's
quite a
kind of like,
conversation.
it's one of those pieces, I think, again, we need to look at how the towns put together, how much money is being paid for each, that will fall into safety, and then in the safety, we break it down into their buckets and see where they are, and then look at the change over time and see where the growth and expenses go. Okay, and any additional questions on the communications budget? I'm hearing nothing, so,
Nope, I'm good.
okay. And the last that the chief had put in is relatively short. He has one worksheet, and it's increasing 1% for the stipend for the animal control officer. That's,
I don't know the questions.
so it's a level funded budget, which is a good thing these days. And of course, I'm gonna try to see where,
Yeah, I'm all right with that budget.
see where we are. There's not animal control.
It's two different people.
She, do we know how many hours that is? Or how do they break that down by hours, or do they just break it down by?
Is it similar to what we do for the alternate plumbing inspectors and electrical inspectors?
Probably.
It's a stipend per incident.
Not per incident,
I don't think it's
yeah. I think she has, I'm just curious if that's, if you can do it by, salary or incident, or what town she's in, or,
yeah,
because she's in numerous towns,
she does, yeah, I think she's located in Shirley.
someplace, yeah.
So she does the multiple towns, but, the pays by stipend, it's not, I didn't think it was a regular employee who was paid by
Okay, yeah.
stipend.
All right,
But it's at 58%, so it's really running right on budget.
schedule,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so maybe there is a stipend per month.
Well, I think there is,
For service retainer,
yeah.
and,
Or she
she
gets that, she gets that per year, but she probably by the month, so I would think, broken up.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good.
okay, so that one looks like we have no questions. for. Chief, again for Andrew, I'm just gonna jump back to the agenda. I did not prepare the files, for land use for the accountant, and the change was the assessor. For some reason, I thought I had put the assessor on here, so, if we take a look at the assessor files, I'm just gonna close out animal control. So if you, very similar to what we had in the budget with the town clerk, the FY '24 was not in the summary last week. So I have recreated the link to where it's supposed to come from, and that's all it is. They have broken
Okay.
links to where the data is supposed to come from. So this allows us to see the changes
Okay,
year over year. So the increase, is coming in salary. And if we look at their expenses, they're dropping their expenses. If we go, we go to the labor tab, which is just the 2 employees in the account, or in the department. They're listed as 4% increases. The clothing allowances and the longevities are also listed. And that's really it for them. On the expenses, again, I modified this a little bit. I put additional description on line 11, the professional services. It said MRPC map updates, so that didn't relate back to the BBA. So I put in the line on the BBA so we can relate what this line is. It's only professional services on the BBA, and that's 3,500. So we can see it's level funded. And then last year they had 2 other lines on the expenses. So they have the reval was complete, and so that's not necessary, but that gets into why the expenses last year to this year were different. And they did not include the travel, so I'm going to ask that of them, because my understanding was the car for town hall was going away and they were going back to mileage. So just want to make sure that if they're going to be doing any traveling, that they've got
put in for expenses.
yeah, and they've got a line. So that's really my only comment on there. That it may increase this year's budget, but because it's kind of like a reval, but it's the assessments that were done last year, and that was professional services. We won't see that line in their budget for another 3 years. It'll come back every 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're flat, so I think that's good.
Yeah. They follow the guidance, and so that's the only. Those rule followers.
2 rules and 2 miracles in one night.
Jump back to that. I didn't have anything else. Kind of short. I only have been putting the next 2 meetings in advance on the bottom of the agenda.
So nothing Tuesday, the 20th?
That's right, because the selectmen are meeting. Yeah, it's been late. And so that's the piece. If we, still, as we progress, do we want to change back? We had originally been Thursday night, and so that would get us off the selectmen, but this is the only time of year that we really have that.
Yeah, the rest of the year, it's not like this.
Right, it's kind of like having,
Yeah.
being off their schedule is convenient.
Have we thought about the 29th, or are we gonna, do you think we'll be done by the 29th? I mean, there are some budgets we really don't have to question that much.
Right.
I think we scheduled out to the 3rd or 7th, didn't we?
We actually did the 7th just in case there was anything. I
Okay,
really
yeah,
want. I mean,
yeah.
that's absolutely a last resort if we're gonna do that. Because the summit is 2 days later, and that's a bit much, so we hope to be done,
22nd.
by then.
Is,
The reason I asked on the 29th was because I have 2 meetings on that same time,
Okay.
same day, and I'm just trying to figure out
Which one's more important?
which one to, no, not, yeah, exactly.
which one's for-
No, that's, so we will have met on the 27th,
Right,
so we can see if, so are there any budgets that you're okay with the rest of us looking at without you being there? Are there any particular departments that you wanna see before then? It's kind of.
I mean, some of them are just the usual small budgets that you
Yeah.
really
Right, yeah,
don't
it's kind
have
of
to
like,
do too much with, yeah.
Mhm.
so the big ones we probably wanna look at is facilities. Fire,
And did we do fire already or no?
we have not done fire yet,
Okay.
that came in separate, if you want, I will resend it,
No, I've got it unless it changed.
Okay, yeah, nothing else has changed yet, for
Okay.
fire, but that was not part of the big packet. We still don't have the board of selectmen, and we don't have the full omnibus. That was on the list of subjects that I put for, Eric to address with us on Thursday.
Okay.
So we should have a little bit more information on Thursday. Highway, I suppose highways, another.
Highway, I guess that was came in capital plan, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he came into capital planning, so that.
Can I have an idea?
Yeah. Right, we're gonna,
And I guess we have to have one more capital plan meeting, and I don't know when it is.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, I meant to ask Teresa that. I was hoping she'd be on tonight because we got to slide that in.
Yeah, pretty quick.
I was gonna say, were you able to connect with Teresa? I know after the last meeting, she was trying to get in touch with you.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I did email her though.
Okay, yep,
Yeah.
I sent her your phone number too, so hopefully.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so, I. Okay, so we're showing our next 2 meetings are Thursday the 15th and Thursday the 22nd, because we're not meeting on the 20th. Then we will meet
Or meeting the 27th,
on the 27th, yeah, on Tuesday night.
and that'll be at 6, right?
That'll be at 6, yeah. And then the last 2, hopefully, if we don't need them, but, we have February 29th. And then we're gonna have the budget summit on March 9th.
But we have down the 7th, right? The 7th
I put the 7th just as a
backup?
backup, yeah, I mean, this time of year, over the weekend, I thought we were gonna lose tonight.
Yeah, I did too.
With their
Yeah.
productions.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice that it didn't happen, so.
So it's possible we could skip the 29th then and use the 7th as the backup?
Yeah, I suppose that could work, it gives a little time off. we can prepare for the election and, then,
Yeah, early elections all
Yeah.
that week too.
right, that whole week, and then then the 7th, so we got, that's the thing, there's a Tuesday, we can't do it Tuesday the 5th, because it's election day.
It's election day, yeah.
Tuesday, March 5th.
Right, yeah, so we can't, there's no rooms available.
There's just not enough days.
There's not enough days, so,
Yeah.
we had just put the 7th because it was before the 9th, just
Right.
as
So we're 15th, 22nd, and the 27th.
and then we'll determine the rest from there.
Okay.
Okay, anything we should put on new business?
I think the only thing I would propose is we keep talking about the 5-year plan.
Yeah.
How do we, maybe after budgeting season, how do we get in front of that?
Well, it's supposed to be one of the documents they provide up front. So, I had, in my view of the world, it's somewhat easy to put together. So I just, if they need somebody to do it, I'll go back in and do it for them. Kinda.
Some of them did it though, right?
Library, I think, is the only one that really has a 5-year plan. I haven't, I don't know that we see it in capital planning.
Mhm.
I mean, there is about 3 years out,
Yeah,
25 to 28, I think, were discussed. What I don't see on capital planning that we need to think, what are the items in each of the departments that if they needed to replace it would be capital planning? And get a life expectancy, when
well,
did they?
that's the deal that the people who come and see us, they have to provide the capital plan so we can provide the capital plan.
Right,
We don't
yeah.
have their information, we can't
Right,
put it
and,
together.
right, and that's what I think we need to do as part of the whole planning process, is see what everything is.
Right,
Because, we're going out, we've got the 2 fire trucks that are gonna be on order, we've got the trucks for the highway department. What are the other, what's the backhoe, and, how long is that gonna last? And there wasn't much coming from, cemetery and
nothing
parks.
came from cemetery.
Right, and it's kind of like, so I know they have a couple of trucks and backhoes and things like that.
Right,
but
yeah, they just recently, I think it was last year that we got a new truck, isn't it?
It was a used
It was
truck,
a huge-
so it's like, okay, from that, how long do they expect that?
He seems to
He,
do pretty good with
He
his equipment,
does,
when they.
Yeah, but
like that
we
whole-
need to know, like he's saying, what is your plan for the next 5 years? There's gotta be
Exactly.
something you need. That's how we can best budget for it.
Yeah, and
right,
we need to, go over there, even though he's not
Mhm.
asking for anything, we still
Right.
need to go over, we need to look at his budget.
Mhm.
I mean,
right, yeah, it's in there, it's in the list. So I'll put together a list of all the ones we haven't looked at yet, divide them out, put them onto some of those.
Yeah, because, I'm not saying lying, but
Mhm.
you do need to, in each of those
Mhm.
departments, we really need to see, otherwise they fall really behind.
Mhm.
And then it really gets tough when they got trucks that are 25 years old and stuff like that. And,
Yeah, exactly, that's that whole.
And then
life expectancy, yeah.
then you spend a lot of extra money on repairing and,
Mhm. Right. Yeah. So, those are the pieces, it's kind of like if they don't come into.
they don't come in and tell us we can't, we don't
Right,
know.
right, and it's kind of like,
We don't
Yeah.
ride around looking at their stuff,
and if we're not prepared for it,
right,
when they come in, if we've allocated things in capital planning,
Right.
there's no money to go out.
yeah.
It's kind of, it's all about the planning.
Well, it's all about the
kinda like
planning and,
we-
well, that's why we have to get our capital plan
Mhm.
meeting over and done with, so we
Yeah.
can really
Yeah.
start to plan for what those people need.
Right.
Now we're gonna pay for it.
That's more important.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the deal. I would love to have you have everything.
Right, and it's kind of like, and I know we'll see how it all comes out. This
Exactly.
year, there's extra money in.
Well, there's some
what would be free
options. We
cash,
have some options we
Because
could do.
we had the properties that we sold this year,
Mhm,
and that money went into general funds. So
mhm,
that will help us,
mhm.
It will help us, but it will only help us once.
once,
It's not
exactly.
recurring money.
Well, and it's kind of like, I want to put my finger on, or a handful, and we haven't done anything for stabilization in a while. We had taken stabilization out for 200,000 for the back pay, and that wasn't put back in, so I would like to try to take some of the, I would, and maybe that's my warrant article that I need to talk to Eric for, is that we need to have a number, that we hit, because if we ever stumble, stabilization is gonna be the place. We don't wanna, every year, we've been doing budgets to get year to year to year. We don't have the 5-year plan, we don't have
Right,
that.
we don't have.
And without increasing stabilization, we're running a risk.
Mhm.
And again, maybe it helps with, we've got a good bond rating, we wanna keep it, so it's kinda like having a stabilization fund that,
Having a credit card, you don't use it.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yep, it's kinda like.
It's always,
Okay, if there's nothing else, and we're just talking general subject, we're okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:17.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
I'll
second that.
second that. Oh,
Okay. And roll call vote,
Joan Mazikas, yes.
Mark
and
Hussey,
you
yes.
would,
Josh
Okay.
Levitt, yes.
and Don Hayes, yes. We are adjourned at 7:17 PM. Thank you all, appreciate it.